Hello, Local Matters community. I'm Adam Fazio, Director of Development at Local Matters. It is a Monday, so we are breaking from our usual format of cooking live with Local Matters Fridays because it's a really unusual time we're all in. We sent out a communication that Michelle wrote to everyone in the Local Matters community that we're in touch with via email about some changes at Local Matters in response to COVID-19. And if you didn't see that message, the gist of it is we want to keep ourselves safe, we want to keep you all safe, and the thing that we need to do for the time being is to pause all of our in-person programming as it has existed currently. So our Food Matters classes, our Veggie Van Drops, our markets there, our Cooking Matters classes, those programs aren't happening, but we're still here. And we will have some updates about things that we're doing in the next couple of weeks and months to respond to folks and make sure we're meeting people's needs relative to food access and education. But for the time being, it's all going to look a little bit different. But I know one of the things that I love most about food and about the work that Local Matters does is the community around it. It's doing that with you all in person. It's doing that with my family. It's doing that with my friends. And it's a huge part of my life. And it's a huge part of my life that's not there in the same way right now, and that's really, really hard. And I'm sure that's something that you're all experiencing too. And so what we're going to try to do on our Facebook and our Instagram channel for the next couple of weeks and maybe beyond is create that community online. And we really want you to be a part of it. We are so grateful for all of your support and for your involvement with us, and we are excited about what this looks like. This is not what any of us were expecting this spring would look like, but we're going to rise to the occasion, and we want you to be there with us. So we are going to, in the coming days, be launching a series of online cooking events, videos with our team, and want you to engage with us in that space. So you'll see a variety of faces. It won't just be me anymore, and you'll be meeting people in their homes. This is my kitchen. This is where I eat breakfast every morning. This is where I make dinner for my family. That's where my cat just ran through. And we really want to open our homes to you in a way that's safe for us all right now, and hope that you'll join us here. And what we're hoping to do is really focus on cooking what you have right now. And I know a lot of people, if you were able, went out and shopped last week, and you've got a lot of food in your fridge, and it's not clear what you want to do with it in some cases, and so we're here to help. We'll be focusing on framework recipes and really preparing things that you have on hand to make something you feel really good about. And so I would really invite you in the comments here or on any of our social media. You can DM us. Let us know what you want to see in this space or what you need in this space. Did you stock up on canned beans or dried beans and only when you got them home realize that you don't actually know what to do with them, or that your kids don't like them the ways that you usually prepare them? That's okay, and we can figure out what to do with that. So let us know what it is you're struggling with, and we'll do our best to respond to that. And our whole team is in this to figure that out and figure that out with you. So please know that there's my oven. As with all Local Matters work, we are doing this with our community. We are not doing this for our community. So please, please, please be a part of it and join us in that. So what I wanted to focus on today was like really nuts and bolts, because I knew that lead-in was going to be a bit longer than our intros usually are. But what I want to talk about is just the most basic of cooking techniques, in my opinion. It's roasting. So it's just heat and food, and that's it. And the reason I wanted to focus on this is because it's how most of my dinners start. And when I was thinking about what I had in my fridge, I wanted to focus on this broccoli because it's something that's going to go bad before the carrots I bought and before the cabbage and before the potatoes. And so I'm just trying to think about how I can use those things first and put something on the table that I'm excited about. So I'm just going to make the roasted broccoli today, and know that that will become a part of a sort of pasta, and that's really just like a fresh vegetable or a cooked vegetable pasta that I'll mix some herbs if we have any. Sometimes I put breadcrumbs in it, sometimes I put cheese in it. There are lots of different ways you can do it. None of them right, none of them wrong. And it's just a matter of what you've got and what you like. And the other thing I would say, for those of you who did a lot of stocking, and including stocking your freezer, should know is that you can actually roast broccoli straight from the freezer. Take a hot sheet pan, put it in the oven, or take a sheet pan, put it in the oven. I would recommend a pretty high temperature, like 450 for that. That's usually my preferred roasting temp. You can take a high temperature and just toss it with olive oil and throw it right on the sheet pan, totally frozen, into the oven, and it will cook and roast up a little softer than if you'd started from fresh, but not much. And it's going to be a really great, really flexible, really low impact thing that you can do with stuff that you've already got. So that's something to keep in mind as you cook through what it is you've already purchased, and as you think about restocking your pantry. We don't know how long we're going to be doing this social distancing thing. We know that it's likely to be a matter of several weeks, if not longer, and I'm gonna have to go back to the store, even with my pretty well-stocked pantry. So that's something that we'll be working on. So I'm just focusing on chopping up the broccoli right now. This is a really big head of broccoli. I use the stems, at least not the parts that aren't super woody. You could theoretically though peel this and cook that as well. Have to cook a little bit longer, but focused on getting this into like bite-sized or slightly larger than bite-sized florets. And one tip, sorry if you don't mind zooming in here, on broccoli that I really like, just to avoid making too much of a mess, because like if you just sort of chop through broccoli straight through the middle, you're gonna have like little broccoli floret pieces like this going everywhere, all over the place, all the time. So one of the things that I like to do is sort of find where the breaks are in it, and sort of target the tip of my knife there, cut through that, and then actually just sort of break it off. That leaves fewer sort of unattached pieces from the head, so it's not flying all over the place. You can do the same thing with cauliflower, like start at the base and break off. That just makes it a lot tidier. So you're not getting stuff all over your kitchen and your floor and all of that. Although broccoli's one of the messier vegetables to cut up, in my opinion. If you've got any secrets, by all means, let me know. We eat a lot of broccoli in our house, and yeah, chopping it up is not one of my favorite tasks. So, yeah. So as I'm keeping chopping, I think I guess I can tell you what I've got in my fridge right now. I went and stocked up on lots of things that we eat on a regular basis. And right now, I'm not that worried about it going bad, because I bought things in pretty reasonable quantities, and it's the kind of stuff that will, at least the fresh stuff, it's the kind of thing that we'll work through in a week or so, especially if we're eating lunches at home as a family instead of out at work. But in my fridge right now, I have celery and carrots, those things that if you leave them in their original containers, they'll keep really well for a pretty long time. Carrots probably even more so than celery. So as you think about, like, if you're like me, sometimes you get stressed out about what's in your fridge and you're thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to get through all this before it goes bad? Don't worry for a minute about those carrots, because those are going to stick around and be pretty good in your fridge, just in the crisper drawer, in that bag that they came in for quite a while. So don't worry about those. If you've got a cabbage in there, if you bought that, or kale, if you just leave it in a bag and, produce bag, leave that in the fridge, that will also just keep for weeks, if not months. So great thing to have on hand in case of emergencies. If you're not able to get to the store for a while, that would be a great thing to have as backup. But it's also super delicious, and you can eat it cooked or fresh, and it's really versatile that way. So I've got a cabbage in there, I've got some potatoes, and I have lots of frozen vegetables, because that's something that I always have in the cabinet, or in the freezer. And I would say the most important part about that is just don't lose track of what's in there. Don't forget that you have things, and then go out and buy more, or use fresh when you could use frozen, if that's not what makes the most sense for you. So, just don't forget what you've got in the freezer. And, as I think we've seen in other Cooking Live with Local Matters sessions that we've done, I cook a lot from the freezer. So that's where I've got broccoli in there, lots of greens, spinach, corn, sweet potatoes, and all of that stuff can make a really great soup, or you can cook it, roast it straight from the freezer, or saute it straight from the freezer. It's super flexible. So don't stress about that either. In terms of other, much more perishable things, like herbs and lettuces, those are the kinds of things that are going to go fastest. And with all of those, I put them into the fridge. I have a set of, dishcloths like this that I use exclusively as a replacement for paper towels in people's bags, or in produce bags. When I put those into the fridge, I wrap lettuce, or a head of lettuce, in a towel not unlike this one, and then just close the bag up loosely, and then just tuck it in there. Do the same thing with fresh herbs. That tends to keep them a lot longer than they would otherwise. But again, that's still something that you're going to want to use in 5 to 7 days max, and just sort of keep an eye on it. So that's what's in the fridge right now. Lots of fresh fruit. The kinds of fruit that are in season right now are also, or available at the grocery right now, tend to be the kinds of things that keep a little bit longer. So apples, oranges, citrus, grapefruits, those can hang out for a bit, so not too stressed about that. So as you're thinking about what to use, focus on what's going to go bad first, the quickest, if you'll eat that, and really just focus on making something you like. That's the most important part. And so with this broccoli, I'm just going to put it onto a sheet pan here. Some that's already oiled. I just put a little olive oil, a little salt on there. I'm just going to put it onto a sheet pan, scrape the last of that oil out, and then use my clean hands to give it a quick one more toss. And then this will go in the oven. I would say it's a 450 oven, so it's pretty hot. I'd say put it in the oven for about 10 minutes. Stir it. If it's starting to brown on one side, that's a good thing. Then put it back in the oven, probably another 8 to 10 minutes more, until it's as brown as you would like, and soft enough. I think at 450, pieces about this size are going to cook cook through in about the amount of time that it would take to get brown as well, which is, you know, delicious and sort of what you're looking for with flavor. But something like this might be a little more inclined to burning. So we'll just keep an eye on those little guys to make sure that nothing's getting too burned. So that's just gonna go in the oven at 450 on a middle shelf until they're done, and it's really totally to your taste. And then that can become a pasta, that can become its own side. You can toss that with a vinaigrette and eat it as a salad. There are lots of things you can do with it. So really encouraging you to just stick with the basics and stick with stuff that you'll use. So that's all we're gonna share today. But keep here on keep tuned into our page to look at other cooking live segments that we'll be doing with folks from our team, and let us know by all means what we can do to support you online during this time. So we will hopefully be building a great community here on this online space, and look forward to the day, hopefully not too long from now, when we can resume with our regular programs. But in the meantime, we're very, very much here, and very excited to be cooking with you again. So please share these posts, share what you're cooking, share what you're struggling with, and we'll be here to support. So thank you all. You all take care, and we'll be back again soon.